For centuries, knowledge has been hidden in plain sight across the sands of time. Whispers of lost civilizations, cryptic symbols, and forbidden histories have been erased or concealed. What if the truth was never lost, but hidden? Welcome to Eye of Ancient Mysteries, where the past speaks and the future listens. Sit back, open your mind, and prepare to uncover the untold secrets of our world. Let the journey begin now. Did Soviet men in black capture aliens? The secrets of the GRU and the KGB, Brezhnev's secret order to create a special unit. The story of the Soviet men in black division remains shrouded in secrecy to this day. Former operatives, even after so many years, are reluctant to speak about their work within the extraterrestrial Department of Soviet Military Intelligence, the GRU. The Soviet military's interest in potential contact with extraterrestrials began after the flying saucer crash in Roswell, but for decades no one managed to organize or systematize this area of research. Stalin's successor, Nikita Khrushchev, showed little interest in such matters. However, Leonid Brezhnev, upon taking power, immediately summoned the top leadership of military intelligence and declared that everything unexplained must be brought into focus. Brezhnev was deeply intrigued by reports of contacts between Soviet military personnel and unidentified extraterrestrial objects. A special department was created whose agents were tasked with studying and, if possible, establishing contact with representatives of alien civilizations. The first group of specialists trained to work with technology of alleged extraterrestrial origin completed their courses in 1970, marking the beginning of an active phase, the Soviet hunt for alien evidence. The strategic motivation. Brezhnev's interest had little to do with the philosophical or scientific implications of alien life. His goals were purely strategic. As reported by Trud, the General Secretary's main concern was to study the flight characteristics and technological design of these unidentified craft, and to determine whether such knowledge could be applied to gain superiority in the arms race and the Cold War. By the mid-1970s, the Soviet military had compiled an impressive dossier containing detailed reports on objects of alleged extraterrestrial origin. The files included a thorough classification system ranging from cigar-shaped craft spotted over the Siberian forests to bright, silvery drops moving in formation. Just a month before the dossier was to be presented to the Kremlin, the military documented the Petrozavodsk phenomenon, a mysterious glow in the sky, accompanied by hundreds of luminous objects of varying shapes that appeared and disappeared both day and night. To calm the population in the northwestern regions, alarmed by the strange lights, military officials publicly claimed that rocket launches were responsible and that what witnesses saw were merely optical effects. In truth, this explanation was only partially accurate. There had indeed been a single rocket launch from a nearby cosmodrome, but dozens of other objects continued to fly over the area for several days, observing, before vanishing entirely 55 minutes after the satellite's launch. Another key mission of the Brezhnev-era program was to study the flight and material characteristics of unidentified craft. Roof discs, cigars, and guitars, as reported by hundreds of Soviet fighter pilots, were examined by a dedicated GRU division with the single objective uncovering at least part of the technology behind these mysterious visitors. First successes. The first major breakthrough for KGB, Special Consolidated Group, came only in the late 1970s. Special Consolidated laid these mysteries 70s. On July 11, 1979, a MiG-25 interceptor allegedly shot down an unidentified object near Sakhalin Island, an object moving at a speed far greater than the Soviet jet. Moments before being authorized to open fire, the pilot radioed back. "The fuselage is vibrating violently. It feels like the wings will tear off any second." Immediately after the unidentified craft went down, the entire area was cordoned off by ships of the Pacific Fleet. What happened next remains unknown. The subsequent details of the incident were never made public. At the same time, rumors began circulating about the construction of a highly secret facility completely isolated from the outside world, designed to quarantine both contactees and visitors from other worlds. In the 1990s, several journalists attempted to investigate the existence of this mysterious site, but no verifiable information emerged. Some claimed the Ulyan prison was located in Kamchatka, others insisted it was hidden among the Kuril Islands, while a third group maintained it was built on the mainland near Khabarovsk. The major incident of 1978, the most serious event, occurred in 1978, 2 years after the well-known UFO incident in Tehran, when an unidentified craft nearly destroyed 2 F-4 fighter jets. This time, an unknown object entered Soviet airspace over Murmansk. The local anti-aircraft regiment, alerted to the intrusion, immediately illuminated the night sky with powerful searchlights. But as soon as the beams locked onto the target, the radar system suddenly went blind. Seconds later, the massive bulbs of the searchlights began to explode one after another. When emergency lighting was activated, operators realized that an unknown electromagnetic impulse had literally freed the powerful projectors. The Soviet military spent enormous sums trying to capture at least one UFO and record it with precision. A secret weapons program codenamed Reshiatka. The grid was developed, fitting every interceptor aircraft with a powerful electromagnetic targeting cannon. The development and testing of this system cost 200 million Soviet rubles. In 1983, the first interceptor equipped with the device took flight, but all records concerning further development of the system disappeared without a trace. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, following the era of Leonid Brezhnev, the Soviet Union initiated a more formalized and systematized set of UFO research activities under the auspices of the KGB, the GRU, and the Soviet Civilian Scientific Establishment. A government-commissioned investigation known by the code name program SETKA, literally grid, was officially initiated in 1977-1978. It comprised 2 main tracks, one militaries, under the Ministry of Defense, focused on the tactical and security implications of anomalous aerial phenomena, and one scientific saw under the Academy of Sciences tasked with examining physical effects and gathering data. Over a 13-year period, the program collected approximately 3,000 reports of UFO or anomalous atmospheric and space phenomena. The KGB and GRU involvement. The KGB's Department for Aviation and Space Oversight is known to have compiled folders on the phenomena and maintained standing instructions for how missile troops, air defense units, and fighter pilots should respond to unidentified craft. Former KGB officer Vasily Yeremenko has stated that in the early 1980s his division received orders to monitor UFO activity around areas of high military tension. Russia beyond. On some occasions, military exercise patterns were deliberately modified in an attempt to induce anomalous aerial appearances. We learned how to summon a UFO, Yeremenko claimed, by intensifying flights and hardware deployment in chosen zones. Beyond the Soviet homeland, several Eastern European countries recorded encounters and reported phenomena. One widely publicized case is the Voronezh UFO incident of September 1989, when children in the city of Voronezh claimed to see a craft and humanoid figures, while official Soviet sources remained elusive. KGB archive references and Western investigations suggest that the program's scope encompassed Allied Warsaw Pact states and satellite nations, where sightings and responses followed similar patterns, while formal Soviet statements avoided extraterrestrial language. Some declassified and post-Soviet research articles assert that materials from recovered anomalous vehicles were examined by technical bureaus of the Ministry of Defense and the Academy of Sciences. Metallurgical, plasma, physics, and electromagnetic field research programs reportedly consumed millions of rubles during the 1960s-1980s. According to sources, the intention was to replicate or adapt exotic propulsion systems observed in these phenomena. As the Soviet system entered its final years, the Setka program and its military, scientific networks continued until the late 1980s. In the early 1990s, after the collapse of the USSR, certain materials were declassified and some former officers spoke publicly, but large swaths of documentation remain inaccessible. Modern scholars view the Soviet UFO phenomenon research as a hybrid of Cold War security thinking, technological competition, and scientific curiosity. Some part of the stimulus came from the fact that unidentified aerial phenomenon often occurred near missile silos, nuclear test zones, or remote military airfields, making them of strategic interest beyond mere UFO fascination.